Morning, good morning. We're back with another little YouTube video here. I got a question off Instagram, just around a client obviously is doing a lot of decks and they're struggling to get hardwood decks over the line versus pine. They were just unsure on how to upsell or why they're more expensive than pine. So I thought I'd do a little YouTube video here, break down some costs. I put some stuff into a 6-page slide deck here, and then we'll review a Excel spreadsheet just with some rough costs to show you how we can lay that out as well. So hope we've all got a little coffee. This will only be 10 minutes long. I thought I just wanted to do a little breakdown on this and comment below if you think we're bang on, if we're miles off. Cool. So firstly, pine versus hardwood decking. What's the hardwood difference? And I don't know if you guys are using AI and stuff at the moment, but holy shit, man. You can like link in now, you can link in Gemini, which is like a AI Gmail, and you can say, give me a photo of a hardwood deck. And it's so cool the stuff you can do. Give me photo of a hardwood deck. This is me teaching you guys about artificial intelligence. This is literally the way it's going, man. It's so scary. So if I'm just down here waiting for this to come in, just a sec. It is a little bit slow, but it is good. Okay, too slow. Not going to wait for that. Sweet. So what I've done is I've just used Gemini, this little AI feature in here. And when I'm building these lessons, I can type in an image and it will spit up an image and then I can put it in the slide. Anyway, so what I want to go through, labor time differences on decks. Okay, so for hardwood decking and pine decking, there's a lot of differences here that need to be accounted for. And this is what you can explain to your client when you're going to go and upsell from a pine to a hardwood deck, or they go, oh, why is the hardwood deck too expensive? So pre-drilling every single screw hole. Now you need 2 drills, 3 or 4 batteries at a time. Then you've got to have them on charge, and there's more, labor time changing batteries out, and then marking out screw holes, drilling all the screw holes pre-drilling. So instead of just putting down a pine board, tacking it down and screwing it off, now we've got to pre-drill every single screw hole, and then we've got to screw it down. So that's a lot of extra labor there, and marking out all these screw holes as well. Hardwood timber comes in various lengths, often not as long as pine lengths. So you've got various lengths of timber there. So that's a big one. Obviously, if you get just a stack of pine, you can probably just get a 500 linear meter pack in 4.8 or 5.4s, and then it's very easy to mark out cutting list. You don't have to worry too much about your spacings or your gaps. Whereas hardwood timber, you might get a pack that was super, super short and you got lengths from 2.8 to 4.8, or then you got a length which was long and it was from 3.6 to 5.4. So there's a lot of various lengths and changes to be made there. So you can literally put that in as a labor line item for decking, like sorting out lengths of timber, working out differences and lengths of these timbers, okay? So the hardwood decking is a heavier timber, so it's a lot more time to lag. So just say, for example, you get your timber dropped off on the side of the road, or you go pick it up from a trade store. You got to get it from, the rack to the trailer. I know this doesn't sound like a lot, but rack to the trailer, it's a lot heavier. Actually, we'll plug this into ChatGPT. What's the average weight of pine decking timber to hardwood decking? And I'm loving ChatGPT right now. I'm going down an absolute hole on it. Here we go. Weight approximately kilograms give me per length, please, at 5.4 meters. Comment below if you guys are using ChatGPT as well. I'm using it all the time. It's so good. It's such a time saver, eh? Here we go. Volume of a 5.4 meter board, light end 4.6 kgs, and then hardwood 8.3. So it's almost double for a volume of a 5.4 meter board. Okay, so there's a good reasoning why. You can just plug that in and say, hey, hardwood decking is twice the weight of pine decking, therefore labor, and we're going to expend more energy. If you want to get really really petty. So for pine decking, no pre-drilling required, straight screw down, lighter timber, easier to move, less maintenance as well on drill bits and cutting blades, just as literally It's not as heavy, it's not as dense, and you're not going to rip through saw blades, cutting blades, drop saw, etc., etc. And also the hardwood decking bleeds on you. If you get quilla and it's wet, it bleeds on you, it's messy. You can't really put that cost into labor, but it's another thing to watch out for as well. Pine wood is cut much faster than hardwood, less maintenance, okay? So these are items that you can put in for your hardwood decking. So if we move on to this next slide, cost differences here. So I did some research and used some numbers that we've got. The New Zealand average square meter rate for a deck to be built pine, and then Australia average square meter rate to be built deck for pine. We got a rough rate of $300 plus GST for 600 mil or lower off the ground for Australia, and 375 for 415 plus GST. Now note, there are going to be one-man bands that go around and do this shit a lot cheaper than a company with overheads, and that are actually charging P&Gs. Okay, so if you're watching this video and you're thinking, "Oh fuck, I can build for 200 bucks a square," good on you, awesome. I'd love to see your profit margins on the back of these decks. Okay, if you're not making 30% net profit on these jobs or even more by the time you take away business expenses after that, and you're netting 20, you're charging too light. Okay, so the way that we've worked this out, this is at full contract cost, retail cost, all of these costs. So I don't know your builders, I don't know your builders' rates. I don't know what your material suppliers charge you or what discounts you have. So I've just gone retail rate here, okay? So hardwood deck, 600 mil off the ground for New Zealand, 550 to $700 plus GST a square meter. And Australia, a hardwood deck, there's obviously a little bit more hardwood within Australia, Marabou, spotted gum, Jarrah. New Zealand, we get the same, but I think the majority of ours is Quilla and Vitex, okay? So Australia was 415 plus GST. The 90 mil pine linear meter rate in New Zealand is $4.26, including GST. This was a retail rate. I got this through Bunnings and Mitre 10, got an average. I think Mitre 10 was slightly cheaper. Australia, $4.40, so it's pretty much the same. I believe if you went for like a less graded timber, it will get down to about $2.36 a meter, but I went for like a decent grade, smooth timber as well. 90 mil cooler rate in New Zealand, $8.95 plus GST. I think 140 was sitting around $12.30. And I remember like 2 years ago, back in 2022, pre-COVID, when it was like fucking $18 a meter for 140. Super, super expensive. 90 mil hardwood in Australia, Marabou, spotted gum, Jarrah, $6.24. And I believe the 140 rate, the wide board, was sitting around $11.50. Okay. Ignore these square meter rates. If you need to get a council consent and then you need a drafty, decking around pools, that just goes right out the window. If you're a specific pool decker, shout out to the Aussie decking chippy who I interviewed in Sydney. He would have rates on this. But ignore that if you're going to be decking around pools. There's a lot of extra curve time, or put that down as a separate rate or linear meter rate per meter around the pool. Decking at heights, if you need a scaffold underneath, if you're working off scaffolds, the amount of time that's going up and down scafs, for example, setting out 10 or 15 joists, you've got to set up a two-bay scaffold, have one person on each scaffold, one person down below, lifting up, lagging it, like it's a lot of time, eh? Um, if you need serious excavation to drill holes, or you need to get a digger in, like if you're building on an elevation side of a hill and you've got to drill down super deep, you might have to get a digger in with an auger bit. These are costs that you can add in into your P&Gs as well, and we're going to go over that in the next slide. Location miles away if it's a remote build. So you could still factor in your build cost for the deck, but then what you want to do is add in your travel on top of that. So for example, if you're building a 100 square meter deck, 415 a square, put that price in, but then say, cool, it's going to take 4 weeks for us to build. There's going to be 4 of us traveling. It's going to take 2 hours each way. Allocate those labor hours, then allocate the fuel and the maintenance, however you want to charge out your vehicle, whether it's just a flat fee, say $215 per trip, or if you want to do it per K, that's up to you. John, I'm just doing a YouTube vid. No, you're all good, man. So balustrades would be an extra cost as well, and then small decks and stairs off the side of the deck would be an extra cost. It's all good, bro. So these items here, you wouldn't allocate these into your square meter rates, or you want to price your square meter rate, but then just add this in as an extra or a contingency, okay? So the square meter rate is really, really good just to get an indication of how serious your client is off the phone. So if you're a deck builder and you're doing 50 of these a year, you've got a team of 3 or 4, you're doing 1 or 2 a fortnight, whatever it is. You want to use this rate to get an indication of how keen your client is. So I always look at using the game of building as the game of numbers. Okay, so if you're bidding for 10 decking jobs and you're getting 10 phone calls a week, you can very quickly just discuss to your client. You know, if they call you, ring ring, hey, it's David here. Hey, we want to build a deck. Cool. Hey, roughly how big is it? Oh, we don't know. We think it might be like 5 by 4 or 30 squares. We've measured it up ourselves. Cool. Hey, what's your budget? Or have you had a look at what kind of decking timber you want? Or do you know anything about it yet? If they give you a little bit of information, just say, hey, listen, for us to do a basic pine deck with no add-ons, it's 350 a square plus GST. If you want hardwood, you're going to be up around that 550. Yeah, cool. Hey, so 20 times 550, so that would be around about 10 to 13 grand. Yeah, that's roughly our budget. Let me know if that sounds good. Yeah, cool. That's right within our budget. That's awesome. What's the next steps? Cool. Hey, just so I know that you're serious, all I ask for is a $275 plus GST buyer's commitment fee, just so I can understand I'm not going to waste my time. Cool. Happy to go ahead. No dramas. If they kick around and fuss and say, oh, we're going to get other quotes, sweet. Hey, give me your email. I'll send that into you in writing. Let me know how you get on. No stress. Play the numbers game, okay? But I always charge for a site visit. That's a whole nother video, but that's how I would do it, okay? Then, if they're keen and they will take the 275 plus GST, you can give them a full breakdown. Once you get paid, once you do a site visit and you measure up, and we'll head to that next slide. So, how to price it? You can do it a meter rate, linear meter rate. I'll show you a full breakdown of how we do these, and then how you can submit these to the clients. Okay. So if we go over here, this is just a decking spreadsheet. So I lay it out very simple. So in the top column, I always have my P&Gs: first site visit, pricing, time, vehicle charge. That should have been site signage, but you can literally just make that 250, or that can be the 275. Vehicle charges, however many days, so days on site, however many days your boys are going to be traveling to site. So if it's a team of 2 for one van, it's going to take them 5 days. You can put that in for 5 in there. And then if you wanted to include 2 site visits for you to go in every day, or once a week, sorry, once or twice a week to go and see, allocate those in as well. So you could put 2. Rubbish removal. If it's a brand new deck, you're probably not going to need a full skip bin. If you're going to be re-demolishing an old deck, you could change that. So if it was an old deck, I'd go 450 plus GST. If it's a new deck and you know you're only going to be getting rid of offcuts, I'll just go 120. Okay, and then that will be your size of decking. Site signage there as well. Good advertising. Market that in. Get a sign. Put it up out the front of the job. The amount of jobs that you can close just by having a sign out the front of a job that you're at is amazing. Okay. Then when we come down to labor, these are all of our labor components. This will be a complete different video. As you can see, we've got mark out new decking, dig post holes, all of these items here. Then you go to the foundation components for the deck. Then you've actually got the decking. Then you've got baseboards if you're going to include those. Those will be tagged out as well. So don't put those in your square meter rate. Balustrades, labor components there, all your handrails, etc. That will be for your stairs going down on like maybe a higher deck. Then when we come down to materials, all broken out, simple and easy. Put your retail rates in there. And what you can do, this is why I've highlighted this little section here in yellow. If you're going to give your client an option for hardwood decking or pine decking, you literally just do this. You give them both options here and say it's 500 linear meters. Cool. And then I always just leave the cheapest option in there. So you literally go here, cut, and then paste out here so it doesn't add up in your totals. Because if you didn't do that, your total looks completely out of whack. But then what you want to do is you want to cut that, move that to the side, and then that's an option there, okay? And then fill out the rest of your costs. Let me know if that was good. Also tags as well. Sorry, one more thing. Tags, no allowance for service locators. If you're drilling holes and you're drilling into the ground, tag out service locators, or you can put that in. We've done other videos on P&Gs. I'll pop that in the description here. But let me know if you enjoyed that video. Deck maintenance is a whole nother video, and how we actually price labor to decks is another video as well. So let me know if you enjoyed that. Thank you very much.